Good afternoon, everyone. I do apologize again once more for the temporary delay. We were waiting on some last minute communications to be added to today's agenda. Good afternoon. I hereby call today's first day, third regular Senate session to order. Today is January 16th. The time is January 16th, 2026. The time is 1:22 p.m. in the afternoon here at the Senate Chamber. Vice Speaker Suspi Mufnas Memorial Building, Capitol Hill, Saipan. It is my pleasure to welcome everybody this afternoon. I would like to take this opportunity to kindly ask those with mobile devices to please put them on silent or to mute them so as they don't disrupt the proceedings. I also like to welcome everybody that is viewing on cable television channel 23, the Senate's YouTube page, and the Northern Marianas Commonwealth Legislature Facebook page. And with that, I'd like to ask that we all rise for a moment of silence. Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Babauta, Senator Calvo, Senator Castro,
Stigat.
Senator Cruz, Senator Hofschneider,
Hey.
Mr. President,
Here.
Senator Karina Armagofnia,
Present.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Present.
Senator Manglonia Paul.
Here.
Mr. President, 7 members present and 2 members absent.
With 7 members present, we have the requisite number to proceed with today's session. Please let the record reflect that Senators Babauta and Calvo are hereby excused from today's Senate session, and Senator Vice President Magofnia is attending virtually. And before we move on to public comment, I would like to recognize our floor leader for some requisite motions.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I move to amend the agenda to include miscellaneous communication 24-08.
Second.
There has been a motion for the addition to today's agenda of miscellaneous communication 2408 and has been seconded. Discussion? Being that we're amending the agenda, I would like to please ask the clerk to call the roll.
Senator Castro,
Stigat. Yes.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider,
Good.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 7 members present voting yes.
With all members voting yes, miscellaneous communications 2408 is hereby added to today's agenda. Moving on to public comment. This is a section of our agenda where we allow the public to provide any comments that are pertinent to today's agenda. Please identify yourself and keep the public comments to about 5 minutes. Public comments is now open. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Hafeday Zantiro, Honorable Senate President Carl King Neighbors, and Honorable Senate members of the 24th Northern Marianas Commonwealth Legislature. For the record, my name is Jean-Paul B. Regis, Special Assistant for Administration under the Office of the Governor. On behalf of the Honorable Governor David M. Apateng and the Honorable Lieutenant Governor Dennis James C. Mendiola, I thank you for the opportunity to appear before you today. Mr. Senate President, I am honored to extend the administration's appreciation and express our gratitude to the Honorable Senate members that are present here today, and to your Committee on Executive Appointments and Government Investigations Committee, chaired by the Honorable Senator Mr. Francisco Q. Cruz, for the time and effort you've all put into reviewing and examining the Governor and the Lieutenant Governor's nominees. This afternoon, you'll be entertaining Senate Standing Committee Report 24-45, the executive appointment of Mr. Matthew B. Stewart, professionally known as Vin Armani, to serve as a member for the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority Board of Directors, representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Senate Standing Committee Report 24-46, the executive appointment of Ms. Carlene B. Sablon to serve as a member for the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Senate Standing Committee Report 24-47, the executive appointment of Mr. Juan S. Salas to serve as a member for the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Senate Standing Committee Report 24-48, the executive appointment of Mr. Vincent N. Camacho to serve as a member for the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District and the Caribbean Community. And lastly, the Senate Standing Committee Report 24-49, the executive appointment of Mr. James Usual Miyahara Mindiola Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. Your relentless time and effort on entertaining our nominees is an essential step forward as the administration finalizes the vacancies for all boards and commission. Once again, Honorable Senate President King Neighbors and honorable members of this esteemed Senate body, Governor David M. Apateng and Lieutenant Governor Dennis James C. Mindiola extends their sincere appreciation for your generous and favorable consideration on behalf of our nominees who have accepted additional commitments to serving our great Commonwealth. Thank you. Si Zus Mosi Zangiliso, Mr. President.
Master, Mr. Regis. Public comment is still open to the members. If there are none, public comment is hereby closed. If there are no objections from the members, I would like to jump around the agenda a little bit. Today we're running a little late, and I would kindly ask that we go to item O on the resolution calendar. No objections? And with that, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I move to adopt Senate Resolution 24-11 to honor the distinguished service of Chief Warrant Officer 4 Rosani Castro McGee upon her retirement from the United States Army and to commend her exemplary leadership, unwavering, and outstanding contributions to the defense of our nation.
Do I hear a second? Second. So there has been a motion for the adoption of Senate Resolution 24-11 and has been seconded. Under discussions? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider,
Ngan.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Maglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Maglonia Paul,
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Mr. President, all 7 members present voting yes.
With all members voting yes, Senate Resolution number 24-11 is hereby adopted by the Senate. Short recess, please. Moving on our agenda, we have, if there are no objections from the members, I would like to go to item M, reports of standing committees. And with that, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have Standing Committee Report number 24-49 from the Executive Appointments and Government Investigations, reporting on the executive appointment of Mr. James Ushio Miyahara Mendiola Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. I move for its adoption.
And before we go ahead and dispose, if you don't mind, may I ask that the candidate or the appointee be brought in? Thank you so much, Mr. Mendiola. So there's been a motion for the adoption of Standing Committee number 2449 and has been seconded. Under discussion, I recognize Chairman of EAGI, Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, your Committee on Executive Appointment and Investigation is ready to present Committee Report number 24-49. And this is the executive appointment of Mr. James Ushio Miyahara Mendiola Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. Your committee has examined a Committee on Executive Appointment and Investigation, to which was referred the appointment of Mr. James Ushio Miyahara Mendiola Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. Beg leave to report as follows. After review and consideration of testimonies provided, your committee recommends the confirmation of Mr. James Mendiola Jr.'s executive appointment to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. Pursuant to Rule 8, Section 5 of the Interim Rules of the Senate, it is the duty and purpose of your committee to report to the Senate for legislative action on the appointment of Mr. James Ushio Miyahara Mendiola Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. Your committee has examined all pertinent documents relating to the executive appointment of Mr. Mendiola Jr.'s overall credential to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission. In summation of all written and oral testimonies provided to the committee, there are 6 oral testimonies in support of the appointee, of which 2 hard copies of the testimony stated was submitted during the hearing. 2 written testimonies in support of the appointee, and no written or oral testimonies in opposition of the appointee. Additionally, your committee stated several recommendations, issues, and concerns to the appointee that are included in this report. Therefore, based on the overall assessment of Mr. Mendiola's credentials, experiences, testimonies, and other relevant issues considered, your committee respectfully recommends the confirmation of Mr. James Ushio Miyahara Mendiola Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. The public hearing was conducted on December 18, 2025 in the Tinian Public Library, San Jose, Tinian. And during the hearing, certain recommendations, issues, and concerns were raised for the appointee to address and look into if confirmed as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission. And in conclusion, all required documents in conformance with Rule 8, Section 5 of the Interim Rules of the Senate have been submitted to your committee for review and consideration. And based on the submission of pertinent documents and testimonies, your committee concludes that the executive appointment of Mr. James Ushio Miyahara Mendiola Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District is in accordance with 4 CMC subsection 8403. Therefore, your committee consents the confirmation of Mr. James Ushio Miyahara Mendiola Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission representing the 2nd Senatorial District. Again, I ask this body to kindly support Standing Committee Report number 24-49. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Still under discussion. Any members? I recognize Senator Magnolia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I am not a member of the committee on EAGI, so I just want a very short comment. I too am in support of the committee report, but at this point I want to recognize a gentleman in the back, the chairman of PUC, Mr. Cyrock. I don't know if there's other members there, but I think of PUC as the referee in the utility game. We know it's not a game, but they're the ones that keep everything on the up and up as far as the consumer's interests. And I want to recognize their effort, PUC's effort in as far as like net metering, evaluating the fact rate, and looking over procurements by CUC to make sure that whatever they do, it's in the best interest of the public. And so I encourage them to continue doing that. And I know that you're going to be joining Mr. Mendiola, an organization with members that are committed to protecting our consumers. So I'm ready for the report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Magnolia. Any other members? I would just like to keep mine brief, if I may. I just wanted to thank the appointee for coming back and, as he said during his hearing, volunteering his time and efforts to try to do our best to progress the CNMI forward in its time of need. And again, thank you sincerely from the bottom of my heart. And with that, I'd like to have the clerk please call the roll.
Senator Castro,
Again.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider,
Again.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 7 members present voting yes.
With all members voting yes, Mr. Standing Committee Report 2449 is hereby adopted, officially appointing Mr. James Ushio Miyahara Mendiola Jr. to serve as the Commonwealth Public Utilities Commission representing the Second Senatorial. Thank you. With that, I recognize the floor leader. Yeah, if I could. If we could call Mr. Armani up into the gallery, please. So we are still on agenda item. Recognize floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have Standing Committee Report number 24-45 from the Executive Appointments and Government Investigations, reporting on the executive appointment of Mr. Matthew B. Stewart IV, professionally known as Vin Armani, to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority Board of Directors, representing the 3rd Senatorial District. I move for its adoption.
There's been a motion for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 2445 and has been seconded. Under discussion, I recognize Chairman of EAGI, Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the second standing committee report. The committee is ready to report to the body. And this is standing committee report number 24-45. The executive appointment of Mr. Matthew B. Stewart, also known as Vino Morni, to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority Board of Directors, representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Again, Mr. President, Committee on Executive Appointments and Investigation, to which was referred the appointment of Mr. Matthew B. Stewart to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority Board of Directors, representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Beg leave to report as follows. After review and consideration of the testimonies provided, your committee recommends the confirmation of Mr. Matthew B. Stewart executive appointment to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Pursuant to Rule 8, Section 5 of the Interim Rules of the Senate, it is the duty and purpose of your committee to report to the Senate for legislative action pertaining to the appointment of Mr. Matthew B. Stewart to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Your committee has examined all pertinent documents relating to the executive appointment of Mr. Stewart's overall credentials to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority Board of Directors. An summation of all written and oral testimonies provided to the committee. There are 4 oral testimonies in support of the appointee, of which 1 hard copy of testimony stated was submitted during the hearing. 4 written testimonies in support of the appointee and no written or oral testimonies in opposition of the appointee. Additionally, your committee stated several recommendation issues and concerns to the appointee that are included in this report. Therefore, based on the overall assessment of Mr. Stewart's credentials, experiences, testimonies, and other relevant issues considered, your committee respectfully recommends the confirmation of Mr. Matthew B. Stewart to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. The public hearing was conducted here at the Senate chamber of the Honorable Vice Speaker Jesus P. Monfnes Memorial Building on September 15, 2025. And during the hearing, certain recommendations, issues, and concerns were raised for the appointee to address and look into if confirmed as a member of the Commonwealth Economic Development Board of Directors. And in conclusion, all required documents in conformity with Rule 8, Section 5 of the Interim Rules of the Senate have been submitted to your committee for review and consideration. And based on the submission of pertinent documents and testimony, your committee concludes that the executive appointment of Mr. Matthew B. Stewart IV to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District is in accordance with 4 CMC subsection 10301. Therefore, your committee consent the confirmation of Mr. Matthew B. Stewart to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Again, I ask this body to support Standing Committee Report number 24-45. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Under discussion, any other members? Senator Magnolia.
Thank you, Mr. President. I know Vin, and I'm ready again to support the committee's recommendation. But I just want to thank you for accepting this appointment. I know it calls for a lot of meetings and talking about how to address our economy. But I just want to point out, because I met with some people this morning, and I know we talk a lot about incentives for businesses, new businesses, how to entice them to come here, Vin. But this meeting this morning was from local businesses, owners, and they're saying, you guys up in the legislature, what are you doing? You're supposed to also look at the existing businesses on the islands because they're shutting down. What are you doing to help these businesses? So that's my 2 cents there, for you to also consider those businesses that are here, are about to shut down, about to lay off people. So I know you can handle that. You can look into that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Magnolia. Any other members? I would like to give brief remarks. I would like to say thank you to Mr. Amani, Mr. Stewart IV. We've known each other for a couple years now, and I don't take lightly the efforts that you've undertaken in the different various manners that you've tried to stimulate our economic growth and diversification. So I look forward to working with you in the future as you progress. Thank you again for accepting the appointment. And with that, I'd like to ask the clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Castro?
Again.
Senator Cruz?
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider?
Again.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Darboe.
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Poll.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 7 members present voting yes.
With all members voting yes, Standing Committee Report 2445 is hereby adopted, officially appointing Mr. Matthew B. Stewart IV to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Economic Development Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Congratulations. And if I could, for the remaining board members for CPA, if we could ask that they all be brought into the chamber for the committee reports. Good afternoon, everyone. And with that, we will move on to item 2 on agenda item M, and I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have Standing Committee Report number 24-46 from the Executive Appointments and Government Investigations, reporting on the executive appointment of Ms. Carlene B. Sablon to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. I move for its adoption.
There's been a motion for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 2446 and has been seconded under discussion. I recognize Chairman of EAGI, Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, this is the 3rd committee report from your Committee on Executive Appointment and Investigation that is ready to report to this body. And this is Standing Committee Report number 24-46. The executive appointment of Mr. Carlene B. Sablon to serve as a member of the Common Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Again, your Committee on Executive Appointments and Investigations, to which was referred the appointment of Ms. Carlene B. Sablon to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District, beg leaves to report as follows. And after review and consideration of testimonies provided, your committee recommends the confirmation of Ms. Carlene B. Sablon's executive appointment to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. And pursuant to Rule 8, Section 5 of the Interim Rules of the Senate, it is the duty and purpose of your committee to report to the Senate for legislative action pertaining to the appointment of Ms. Carlene B. Sablon to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Your committee has examined all pertinent documents relating to the executive appointment of Ms. Sablon's overall credential to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors. And in summation of all written and oral testimonies provided to the committee, there are 7 oral testimonies in support of the appointee, of which 5 hard copies of the testimonies were submitted during the hearing. 12 written testimonies in support of the appointee and no written oral testimonies in opposition to the appointee. Additionally, your committee stated several recommendations, issues, and concerns of the appointee are included in this report. Therefore, based on the overall assessment of Ms. Sablon's credentials, experiences, testimonies, and other relevant issues considered, your committee respectfully recommends the confirmation of Ms. Carlene B. Sablon to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. The public hearing was conducted here at the Honorable Vice Speaker Suspi Mofnas Memorial Building on December 15, 2025. And during the hearing, certain recommendations, issues, and concerns were raised for the appointee, accompanied by CPA Board of Director appointee John S. Salas and Vincent N. Camacho Jr. to address and look into if confirmed as a members of the Common Ports Authority Board of Directors. And in conclusion, all required documents in conformance with Rule 8, Section 5 of the Interim Rules of the Senate have been submitted to your committee for review and consideration. And based on the submission of pertinent documents and testimonies, your committee concludes that the executive appointment of Ms. Caroline B. Sablon to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District is in accordance with 2 CMC subsection 2123. Therefore, your committee consent to the confirmation of Ms. Caroline B. Sablon to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Again, I ask this body to support Standing Committee Report number 24-46. And again, as I mentioned during the hearing, Mr. Blon, I address in regards to the Tinian fire truck that it is necessary that to have a sufficient and an effective fire truck, because there's a lot of military activity going on, and we need a sufficient equipment for the staff to respond to any call in regards to any incident that occurred at that port. Again, I appreciate your patience and understanding on that matter. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Discussion is still open. Recognize Senator Maglonia.
Si Diyos mangsi, Mr. President, by nakarera isti, banilosuzo isti tres na nominee, usangan na isti gi niya public hearing, lo kumakamen no pago sa Utaytay committee report, bonito na committee report, lo magayat ti klaro office ya palabraw gi na hearing, for the record, malagazo by sangan tigwini na no fine na jauna benay donklo na si Jesus Mosi si Esther i CEO sa no after no o comprende na esta ma preba ji or esta ma sangoni na poma preba como na olum to di permitting i roll on roll off na operation gi West Harbor, which is very critical na sa that will go a long way in dropping the cost of commodities on Rhoda, because now with the lack of crane and all that, a shipping vessel can go right to the dock and roll on roll off operation without a need for a crane. So I acknowledge the help of the CEO and the staff at CPA. But there are several concerns on Rhoda, and I hope that shortly after your confirmation you get a chance to go down there, and we really ask for your help. Ginigiban na ni airport, ni seaport, no. At the airport now there are 2 projects that are pending, and I think I don't know if it's unreasonably delayed, but one project that should be started already is the apron parking. I think that's, I don't know, $4 million. It's been signed, pending. I don't know if it's procurement matters, but I hope that they can resolve that, because we need construction activity down on Rhoda, as well as the roofing, which is about $7 to $8 million funding, and that should have been started also. Pending, but the more we can get our projects moving, economic activity, and also I appreciate your help and to look into these matters. So thank you, Chairman. Good committee report, but it's not in there, and I just want to put that in there. No, thank you.
Thank you, Senator Ball, for that clarification. I recognize Senator Hofschneider.
Mr. President, and buenas tardes para todos si mangay gini, especialmente i appointees no malagwazo pa be extendi agradecimento ni in nawaten punmizo ni finally ni some of the members of the Senate pudwana asunto siya, no, pending CPS and gua recommendation gua no uno malagwazo na ba mention na no on record pudedzi revisit todos di siya is in Mizo properties yalum CNMI lekuna between the airport, the seaport, and the MBA. You guys are the critical entities to the livelihood of the CNMI, other than all the laws, and the incentives. So I think the port is very critical. The visitors authority is right there. So I encourage the soon-to-be board members to dig deep and work with our tourism industry, and including how to figure out a way to entice clients or and I know you guys are doing it, but more how do we land a concessionaire with the Saipan Airport, the Tinian Airport, and Rhoda Airport for that matter, because it is very, very critical. Just not too long ago, we authorized a legislation which eventually became law to commingle seaport and airport funds. It's never been done before. I think since it was created, the CPA was created, it's never been tinkered before. Only this legislature that was done. So that's all telling us to the criticalness of the ports as well as the CNMI in general. Last but not the least, I do know that this is a Tinian matter, but I respectfully ask that you revisit the previous board's decision to name the airport after Francisco Manglonia Borja. Please revisit that decision by then, the board then, and move forward with the installation of the sign. So with that, Mr. President, I yield back. This is Usmao Taluni, the Mizuno Volunteerism. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Hofschneider. Any other members? Recognize Senator Castro.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just in line with what was said by Senator Hofschneider, I just wanted to thank the board for considering this post. The airports and seaports are a gateway to our Commonwealth. Let us not forget also the the different municipalities. Maybe even Sugar Dock. But from a commerce standpoint, we're seeing all the cruise ships coming in. And I hope that, it may not be a popular thing right now, but it's very important that our decision makers, such as yourselves, look at our competition. These other areas where the cruise ships are going to, we have to know our market, and we have to know, especially those areas that are really successful in bringing in cruise ships, what kind of infrastructure and amenities are available when the passengers arrive on island. Because right now our seaport's pretty bare. There's no, the pathway is there, but there's no concession. I wanted to give a shout out to all the different agencies that do, make it better than what it is right now, like with all the performances and the welcoming. But at the same time, infrastructure wise, we can do better. All the economies in the world, when it wasn't doing too well, the government spent an infrastructure that helped build the cash flow. So please look into that. And again, thank you for your service.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Any other members? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Castro,
I'm good.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider,
Again,
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 7 members voting yes.
With all members voting yes, Standing Committee Report 2446 is hereby adopted by the Senate, officially confirming Ms. Carlene B. Sablon to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors, representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Congratulations. Recognize the floor leader.
Mr. President, we have Standing Committee Report number 2447 from the Executive Appointments and Government Investigations, reporting on the executive appointment of Mr. Juan S. Salas to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors, representing the 3rd Senatorial District. I move for its adoption.
There has been a motion for the adoption of Standing Committee Report 2447 and has been seconded. Under discussion, I recognize Chairman of the AGI, Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the 4th Standing Committee report under the EAGI committee that is ready to report to this body. And this is Standing Committee Report number 24-47. The executive appointment of Mr. Juan F. Salas to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors, representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Again, your Committee on Executive Appointments and Investigation, to which was referred the appointment of Mr. Juan F. Salas to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors, representing the 3rd Senatorial District, beg leaves to report as follows. After review and consideration of the testimonies provided, your committee recommends the confirmation of Mr. Salas' executive appointment to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. And pursuant to Rule 8, Section 5 of the Interim Rules of the Senate, it is the duty and purpose of your committee to report to the Senate for legislative action pertaining to the appointment of Mr. Juan S. Salas to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Your committee has examined all pertinent documents relating to the executive appointment of Mr. Salas' overall credentials to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Board of Directors, and in summation of all written and oral testimonies provided to the committee. There are 6 testimonies in support of the appointee, of which 3 hard copies of the testimonies were submitted during the hearing. 4 written testimonies in support of the appointee, and no written or oral testimonies in opposition of the appointee. Additionally, your committee stated several recommendations, issues, and concerns to the appointee that are included in this report. Therefore, based on the overall assessment of Mr. Salas' credential, experiences, testimonies, and other relevant issues considered, your committee respectfully recommends the confirmation of Mr. Juan S. Salas to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. The public hearing was conducted on December 15, 2025, here in the Senate chamber of the Vice Speaker Suspi Mafna's memorial meeting. And during the hearing, certain recommendations, issues, and concerns were raised for the appointee, accompanied by CPA Board of Director appointees, Ms. Carlin B. Sablon and Mr. Vincent N. Camacho Jr., to address and look into if confirmed as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors. And in conclusion, all required documents in conformance with Rules 8, Section 5 of the Interim Rules of the Senate have been submitted to your committee for review and consideration. And based on the submission of pertinent documents and testimonies, your committee concludes that the executive appointment of Mr. Juan S. Salas to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District is in accordance with 2 CMC subsection 2123. Therefore, your committee consents the confirmation of Mr. Juan S. Salas to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District. Again, I ask this body to support Standing Committee Report number 24-47. And again, Mr. Salas, as I mentioned to Ms. Carlin Sablon, the same concern that hopefully you can try and resolve whatever matters that pertaining to the necessity in responding efficiently to any incident that might occur at any port, and as well as what Senator Poe have mentioned, try and address those concerns if you are given the blessing of this body. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. I yield back.
Thank you, Chairman Cruz. Floor is still open for discussion for the other members. Being none, clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Castro,
Good.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider,
Good.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul,
Yes.
Mr. President.
Yes.
Mr. President, all 7 members present voting yes.
With all members voting yes, Standing Committee Report 2447 is hereby adopted by the Senate, officially appointing Mr. Juan S. Salas to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial. Congratulations. Recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. We have Standing Committee Report number 24-48 from the Executive Appointments and Government Investigations, reporting on the executive appointment of Mr. Vincent N. Camacho to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District and the Carolinian community. I move for its adoption.
Second.
There has been a motion for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 2448 and has been seconded. Under discussion, recognized Chairman of EAGI, Senator Cruz.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the fifth and last committee report from the Executive Appointment and Investigation Committee, and this is Standing Committee Report number 24-48. This is the executive appointment of Mr. Vincent N. Camacho Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District and the Carolinian community. Mr. President, your Committee on Executive Appointment and Investigation, to which was referred the appointment of Mr. Vincent N. Camacho Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District and the Carolinian community, begs leave to report as follows. After review and consideration of the testimonies provided, your committee recommends the confirmation of Mr. Vincent M. Camacho Jr.'s executive appointment to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District in the Carolinian community. And pursuant to Rule 8, Section 5 of the Interim Rules of the Senate, it is the duty and purpose of the committee to report to the Senate for legislative action pertaining to the appointment of Mr. Vincent N. Camacho Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District in the Carolinian community. Your committee has examined all pertinent documents relating to the executive appointment of Mr. Camacho Jr.'s overall credentials to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors. And in summation of all written and oral testimonies provided to the committee, there are 6 oral testimonies in support of the appointee, of which 3 hard copies of the testimonies were submitted during the hearing. 1 written testimony in support of the appointee and no written or oral testimonies in opposition of the appointee. Additionally, your committee stated several recommendations, issues, and concerns to the appointee that are included in this report. Therefore, based on the overall assessment of Mr. Camacho Jr.'s credential, experiences, testimonies, and other relevant issues considered, your committee respectfully recommends the confirmation of Mr. Vincent M. Camacho Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District and the Carolinian community. The public hearing was conducted on December 15, 2025 here in the Senate Chamber of the Vice Speaker Suspi Mafnas Memorial Building. And during the hearing, certain recommendations and issues and concerns were raised for the appointee accompanied by CPA Board of Directors appointees, Ms. Carlin Bisablon and Mr. John S. Salas, to address and look into if confirmed as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors. And in conclusion, all required documents in conformance with Rule 8, Section 5 of the Interim Rules of the Senate have been submitted to your committee for review and consideration. And based on the submission of pertinent documents and testimonies, your committee concludes that the executive appointment of Mr. Vincent N. Camacho Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District and the Carolinian community is in accordance with 2 CMC subsection 2123. Therefore, your committee consents the confirmation of Mr. Vincent N. Camacho Jr. to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors representing the 3rd Senatorial District and the Carolinian community. Again, I ask this body to support Standing Committee Report number 24-48. And again, Mr. Camacho, the same thing that I addressed to the 2 that already be confirmed. Hopefully that you guys can be able to work together and address those issues. The reason why I keep continue to, to say this because to avoid any future liability against CPA, by not responding to any incident on the runway on a timely manner. So again, I humbly ask that you look into that once you guys start, your work and be able to work together with the other sitting members and most especially the staff of the hardworking staff of CPA. And again, I thank you and I appreciate your patient understanding. Are you back, Mr. President?
Thank you, Senator Cruz. Recognized for leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wanted to reserve my comments until we go over all the nominees. I can't emphasize enough the need for all the board members to at least come down to Rota, and hopefully the airport issue is of your top priority. Like I've mentioned in the hearing, right? Every time I go down, that sectioned area that's closed off keeps getting bigger and bigger, and it's becoming a hazard to not just the people that work there, but the traveling public. But most importantly, our leadership has worked very hard in trying to create this image of Rota and how beautiful it is. But the last thing that they see when leaving is this eyesore that, seems to be. I mean, I don't know what's going on, but I think that one of the action that's needed is for the board to be able to hold quorum, and I hope that one of the first things that you guys do when you get there is come down to Rota and see what can be done to get that issue resolved. I know there were concerns regarding protests, but this is an emergency situation where we're putting a lot of our people's lives at risk, and that we want to leave a lasting impression on the visiting public to come back and not see this issue still being left unresolved. And so with that, I congratulate all of you on your confirmation, Mr. Camacho, soon to be confirmed. And if there's anything that we can do to assist in terms of funding, as Senator Jude has mentioned, we've been supportive of the CPA's ability to use seaport revenues as a way to, offset some of the unfunded operational costs that the airport is incurring. And so I'd be more than happy to assist any way we can. And with that, Mr. President, I yield.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Any other members? I too wanted to reserve my comments for the end. First off, I want to thank all of you for taking the opportunity to serve in this capacity, in this role. None of the boards and commissions are easy. Yours rank arguably among the most difficult, and a lot of the issues are external to the actual agency that you represent and that you will sit as a board member of. So I fully understand some of the hardships and difficult decisions that you will make in the near future. I ask that you take into consideration all of the constructive points that the members have offered throughout the interview process as well as today's session, as they do mean a lot to the people for whom which they represent. Similarly to us on Tinian, that there was a public hearing that was had by the board at that time to rename the airport, and my understanding is it is currently recognized as Francisco M. Borja Airport, but to this day we have no signage to represent and honor the individual for whom the people of Tinian had wanted to be named after. Same with the issues that Senator Manglonia has brought up. These are not new issues; these are long-standing issues. But I do understand that none of you have a magic wand that can just wave around and find the money and resources to adequately address these issues, and that I get. But so long as we can continue to work together to move the CNMI forward, I'm so thankful for again your acceptance and congratulations. No other members? With that, I will go ahead and ask the clerk to please call the roll.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider,
Again,
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 7 members voting yes.
With all members voting yes, Standing Committee Report 2448 is hereby adopted by the Senate, officially confirming Mr. Vincent N. Camacho to serve as a member of the Commonwealth Ports Authority Board of Directors, representing the 3rd Senatorial District and the Carolinian community. Congratulations. Short recess, please. We now rise back to session. And before we proceed any further onto our agenda item, I did want to take this opportunity to recognize our LB staff that has been assisting with our session today. With us today are Senate Legal Counsels Joe Bermudez and Antoinette Villagomez, Legislative Assistant, Senior Legislative Assistant Ms. Jolyn Duenas-Tagovao, Legislative Assistant Devin Macaranas, our IT Assistant Mr. Delbert Camacho, our Sergeant at Arms, Jonathan De Leon Guerrero. Also here earlier with us was Mr. Louis John Castro, rather, assisting us with our media. And our Senate Journal Clerk, Ms. Valerie Uggan. Now, moving on, I would like to recognize the floor leader for reading and approval of the journals.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I move for the adoption of Senate Journal number 24-18, dated 9th day, second regular session. Dated December 22nd, 2025, and Senate Journal number 24-19, first emergency session, dated December 31st, 2025. I move for its adoption.
There has been a motion for the adoption of Senate Journal 2418 and 2419 and has been seconded. Discussion? Ready? All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Senate Journals 2418 and 19 are hereby adopted by the Senate. I'd like to recognize the floor leader for the proper motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer a motion to suspend pertinent rules to accept governor's to amend the agenda to include governor's communication 24-173.
Second.
There has been a motion for the addition to today's agenda of Governor's Message number 24-173 and has been seconded. Discussion? With that, clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider,
Again.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglona Donald,
Yes.
Senator Manglona Paul. Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 7 members present voting yes.
With all members voting yes, Governor's Message number 24-173 regarding Executive Order 2025-005 is hereby added to today's agenda. Recognize the floor leader.
Thank you again, Mr. President. At this time, I move to suspend pertinent rules to allow for action on Governor's Communication 24-173.
Second.
There has been a motion to suspend pertinent rules to allow for action on Governor's Message number 24-173 and has been seconded. Discussion? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Castro,
Ngan.
Senator Cruz,
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider,
Again.
Senator Magofnia,
Yes.
Senator Manglona Donald, Senator Manglona Paul.
Yes.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Mr. President, all 7 members present voting yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all members voting yes, the pertinent rules are hereby suspended and allows for action on the Governor's Message. Moving on to messages from the Governor, I recognize the Clerk.
Mr. President, we have 15 items on the agenda. Governor's Message 24-194 to 24-208. And please note number 6 should read FY 2025 Annual Report. Sorry.
Thank you, Clerk. And with that, open for discussion. Short recess, please. to session. And under Governor's Communications, I would like to refer to Governor Communication number 24-173, and I would like to recognize our legal counsel.
Good afternoon, President and members. I was asked to review Executive Order 2025-5, which is the executive order that transferred the Cannabis Commission to the ABTC division of the Department of Commerce. The executive order basically did three things. First, it transferred the duties and responsibilities of the Cannabis Commission to the ABTC division of the Department of Commerce. And then it terminated the commissioners of the Cannabis Commission based on the transfer. And number three, the managing director and staff of the commission were also transferred to the Department of Commerce under the authority of the Secretary of Commerce. The governor justified the executive order by stating that as of July 31, 2025, the Cannabis Commission reported a total of fiscal year 2025 year-to-date taxes of only $113,880.33, which is much less than the amount necessary to cover the compensation of the commissioners, which is $55,000 per annum. The governor also stated that trying economic times necessitated consolidation of duplicative government instrumentalities. Based on my review and research, I believe that the Executive Order 2025-5 may be problematic for several reasons. The governor cited NMI Constitution Article 3, Section 15 as the authority to transfer the Cannabis Commission to the ABTC division. The relevant part of Article 3, Section 5 states that the governor may make changes in the allocation of offices, agencies, and instrumentalities in their functions and duties that are necessary for efficient administration. While the Constitution grants the governor discretion to be organized the executive branch, the governor's authority cannot encroach into the legislature's authority to establish laws and create agencies. Only the legislature can do that. Now, the Supreme Court the CNMI Supreme Court in the case Torres v. CUC addressed a similar executive order where the governor then transferred the Commonwealth Utilities Corporation to the Department of Public Works. The first executive order basically, again, transferred CUC and the responsibility of CUC to the Department of Public Works and terminated the board of directors and created a executive director to run the office. The court reviewed the executive order and determined that the governor exceeded his authority with the first executive order by abolishing the CUC board, which altered CUC's administration and nullified existing statutes. So similarly in this case, it appears that the EO also, by transferring the Commonwealth Commission, which is an independent regulatory agency, to a department, it's changing or altering its administration. And also by terminating the commissioners, again, that's also changing the administration because Public Law 20-66, the law that created the Cannabis Commission, intended that the regulation of cannabis be conducted by a commission of 5 members representing Saipan, Tinian, and Rhoda. By transferring, the governor's executive order transfers and terminates existing board members and puts the regulation of cannabis under only one person. That's the Secretary of Finance. That's contrary to the intent of Public Law 20-66. And like I said again, the transfer changes the administration because the Cannabis Commission was an independent regulatory agency. Now it's part of a division under the executive branch. So again, that is contrary, that is different from the original intent of the law. And not only that, so the provisions relating to the relative to the cannabis commissioners becomes null and void because now there are no commissioners. The commission is only going to be regulated by one person, that's the secretary. Another problem with the EO is that it contradicts Public Law 20-66 and Article 3, Section 1 of the Constitution, which states that the commissioner shall be removed for cause only. So the existing cannabis law states that the commissioners can only be removed for cause. The Constitution also says that, what does it say? It says, members of board or commission shall be independent and may be removed only on grounds of gross neglect, dereliction of duty, breach of fiduciary duty, conviction of a felony, or mental or physical incapacity. These are the examples of cause of when a governor can remove a commissioner. And the executive order does not state doesn't have any evidence or state any facts of any neglect, dereliction of duty, breach of fiduciary duty conducted by any of the any of the cannabis commissioners. The only reason why the governor is terminating the commissioners is because the duties and responsibilities of the cannabis commission has been transferred to ABTC. The transferring of the cannabis commission is not cause, or it doesn't meet the definition of dereliction of duty or breach of fiduciary duty or anything even close to the commissioners doing anything wrong. Technically, they didn't do anything wrong. The governor just said, oh, because we're transferring the commission, we don't need you anymore, you're terminated. Or you don't have any duties and responsibilities, so we're terminating you. That's basically what the governor did. Another reason why the executive order may be a problem is because federal grants administered by the Department of Commerce might be affected because cannabis is still a controlled substance under federal law. So when the legislature was considering whether or not to create this cannabis commission or regulate cannabis under any department, that issue was brought up. There was a concern at that time that if the Department of Commerce regulates cannabis, which is a Schedule I controlled substance under federal law, the federal government might withhold grants or funding from the available to the Department of Commerce because they're regulating cannabis. So it was decided that it's better to separate the two. And if you look at the federal government, what do you call that? Alcohol and tobacco, which is what ABTC regulates, is also governed by a separate agency. Under the federal government, it's the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms Agency that regulates alcohol and tobacco, and then a separate agency, the DEA, that's another agency that regulates cannabis. They're separate. So that was also what the legislature intended at that time, and by transferring it to the department, again, that's contrary to what the legislature intended. And then also the justification of the executive order is inaccurate or misleading. The governor stated that the cannabis excise tax collected for 2025, FY 2025 was only $113,000. While this is correct, what the governor didn't add is also the fund status of the cannabis revolving fund. So in addition to the excise tax for cannabis, there's a cannabis revolving fund where all the license fees and other fees related to cannabis are deposited. And based on the acting commissioner's letter to the Senate President, which includes a certification of funds by the Secretary of Finance, as of July 31, there was approximately $378,342.50. So that was not included in the executive order as justification, because obviously there there is now more than enough money to cover the salaries of the commissioners. So in that sense, the executive order is kind of misleading, or doesn't have the, or isn't accurate and doesn't have the complete financial picture of the Cannabis Commission and its funding, its cannabis revolving fund. The governor also states that, again, there's a need to consolidate duplicative government instrumentalities. The Constitution authorizes the governor to transfer agencies necessary for efficient administration. In this case, I believe that it is not necessary for efficient administration because, again, alcohol and tobacco are not controlled substances, so you want to separate the controlled substance and the alcohol and tobacco in as far as how they are regulated. And that, again, was the intent of Public Law 2066, and the governor's executive order basically nullifies a lot of the provisions of the existing law, which is also contrary to what the court said the governor can do in the Torres v. CUC case. So that's it in a nutshell. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Thank you, Council. The floor is open to the members. I would like to say thank you for articulating some of the information that we have just recently received. Understandably, this came in. Some of this information was received yesterday and on the 6th. It's quite voluminous. There's also a letter to the Attorney General, Mr. Edward Manbusan, regarding some of the discrepancies that you articulated here today. On my behalf, I'm concerned. There seems to be a trend. I agree with wanting to make changes to these agencies and these commissions. However, again, for the same reasons why I voted against 2025-002, which was the executive order on the Casino Commission. I again share the same sentiment foundationally with this executive order. If there are concern, in my opinion, by allowing this executive order to take effect, it's causing more trouble than it's trying to fix. And if we would talk to each other like we've always said we would, and have an open line of communication and dialogue, then I don't see how the three different houses, the House, the Senate, and the executive branch, can't come to terms on how they would want to reshape the Cannabis Commission moving forward. And that's, I guess, the frustrating part that I have on my side is dealing with the fallout on the back end. It's easy to talk about the reasons why, but when the reasons aren't fully accounted for, a lot of the following information is now brought into question, and whether or not it's reliable, and that's not really where we're trying to go with this. I think everybody is trying to find solutions and trying to find a way to streamline processes. But if that's the case, then we should come to the legislature where these statutes are born, instead of executing executive orders. At the same time that we're dealing with a budget and the MPLT bill, so I'm sure it wasn't lost on them that we would be dealing with multiple monumental issues in concert with dealing with this executive order. So that's what I have for my part. Any other member? I recognize Senator Aushan.
Chris, first I apologize that usually the presiding officer, but I do want to flag some of the concerns that are we just recently received, or not too long ago, some some discrepancies, so to speak. My only question upon hearing the council's opinion is, So what now? What do we do as members of the legislature, flagging the potential violation of such, with the lack of a better term, in terms of the revenue being generated, being collected by an entity that is quote unquote not suitable just yet to, or not equipped with the proper authority to administer the industry itself. I mean, where does that leave us in terms of government? Um, as what you mentioned, Mr. President, the proper format would be to change the law, and instead of now basically removing this entity in itself and putting it under a subdivision of an department, and that's recognized. But however, what about the conflicting categories or conflicting classifications as far as the industry itself being now leaving it to the state? In this case, we legalize it versus a federal entity that has just, even administrative wise, they haven't even adjudicate or even gone to that. So it begs the question to us, members of the legislature. So are we going to turn the other way and just forget that it's there, or what do we do? Do we pass another bill to recreate flawed action by this executive order? I think those are questions that we need to continue asking ourselves. I don't know what the fate of this EO, because I do know, Mr. President, you made it very clear that you want us to entertain it. But I guess the legislative process would be both houses to entertain it, whether in favor or not. Especially if you are not in favor of it, we need to entertain it on this platform. So that's kind of like my comment on this, Mr. President and members. We're kind of left without any clear delineation as to what's the authority, basically, of the CNMI government, as a result of this particular movement by the administration. Thank you. I yield back.
Thank you, Senator Schneider. Any other members? Recognize Senator Moore. If I could just
Thank
recognize
you.
the Vice President. Yeah.
Okay. Can I go? Can I go? Am
Yes,
I
Vice.
recognized?
Yes, Vice.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our legal counsel, Antoinette, for thoroughly explaining her analysis and the possibility of the EO being unconstitutional, perhaps. But what I would like to ask of the legal counsel is the question on whether or not the EO violates the contracts clause under the U.S. Constitution, only because under Public Law 20-66, the commissioners are considered independent contractors and not employees of the government. Therefore, when the governor appointed the commissioners, they had to execute a contract between the commissioners and the office of the governor. So my question is specifically on the contracts clause, whether or not it was violated by the EO. Thank you.
The the Cannabis Commission is a state agency, and if there's any contract between if there is an employment contract, I'm not sure how the cannabis commissioners are paid or how it's set up. If there was a contract and they were terminated without cause, it will not be a violation of the U.S. Constitution Contracts Clause. It would be a violation of their own contract, and then they can take that contract to the courts and have the courts enforce it if they so wish. But I don't believe it's a violation of the U.S. Contracts Clause.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification, counsel. That's all I have. President Ayu.
Thank you, Vice President Magovnia. I recognize Senator Paul.
Yes, thank you, President, and thank you, Attorney. Has your analysis or legal opinion been shared with the House of Representatives, Legal Counsel, and the members?
No, I only shared it with the Senate President and the Senate members.
Okay, because the signature date for the receipt of this letter is November 19th, so 60 days, right, is the time for if we're going to correct or have an opportunity to address the concerns, the legal concerns that you're raising. No. Let's say that the legislature did not succeed in overriding this EO. So what are we faced with then? We will need to work on legislation, right?
Correct. If both houses of the legislature do not reject the executive order within the 60-day period, the transfer becomes effective. And if the legislature would like to change, again, the structure or the administration of the CAC, change the structure and administration of the cannabis.
We absolutely have to do that, right? Because you're concerned that there's some concerns there with the marijuana still being classified as class 1. Class 1, right? Schedule 1, rather.
I just stated that those concerns were raised when Public Law 2066 was being considered. So marijuana is still a class 1 drug today, controlled substance today. So I'm just saying that those concerns could still be relevant today. Whether it would be an actual problem or not, I don't know. I think we would have to ask the Secretary of Commerce.
Okay, so I guess since the industry, as you mentioned, still contributes significantly, especially after we amend the salary schedule to kind of address the financial challenges, right? That is an industry that we want to continue, right? Yeah. So I guess what I'm trying to point out is that we do need to work on legislation with the House if this were to, the EO were to continue forward. I mean, I think that I guess my question to you is legally these have to be addressed. No, pues, Mr. President, I'm just saying that I understand we are on discussion and a motion has been placed on the floor already? Or not yet? Oh, okay. So the idea is that if the Senate overrides this on the House, then it would address everything that I guess attorney is bringing up, but it will not address concerns by the administration on the salary and on trying to streamline, I guess, some of the concerns addressed in the EO. Right? So my recommendation is that we assign our two legal counsels to work with the House so that we can, if in case that the House and Senate do not override this, that we have to address that right away, especially if the EO were to stand and we're faced with those concerns. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Magnolia. Any other members? I did want to kind of circle back and respond. Not to say that you're wrong, but the whole purpose of this exercise with these executive orders is to understand where the Constitution lies and where the executive branch has control to now begin to set statutes that are solely in the possession that power is vested in the legislature. And in the event that we're talking about, okay, if this override is not, it doesn't meet both House and Senate and it fails, then it brings the legislature to the table. Again, this is the flawed approach that I'm trying to bring awareness to the community. If we're serious about change, and this is a issue that should be dealt from the ground up, then we get communications. I mean, we have lists. How many things from the governor's office of all of these communications, and none of them really ask us to sit down and talk about tangible amendments that need to be made to different commissions. Instead, we get told where to go and what taxes to pass, and then we still haven't gotten the money 18 months after we pass the tax. Like, all I'm trying to advocate for is for the proper process to be taken into consideration when these executive orders are contemplated, so that maybe we can have a dialogue with the executive branch and we can preempt this delay, and instead of dealing with the problem, we can fix the problem so that it doesn't need to be in no man's land via this executive order. Now we would have anticipated, we would have discussed and agreed upon who would be the proper entity. How would we deal with the commissioners that were duly appointed at the time that these laws were generated in the legislature? That's where I stay consistent with my stance that if we want change, like the governor always says, my door is always open. Our door is always open. If we want to have real discussions and dialogues about these issues and attack them and come up with a solution before it becomes problematic, then let's do so. That's all I say. And with that, I'll ask the floor leader, or I'll recognize.
The reason why I'm mentioning that sa EG Otruna EO na for the casino commission, right? Right now, there's communication from the governor for the House and the Senate to amend the casino law, and I'm getting worried. Even after the EO, after months, right? It's the legislature has not moved the. If that's indeed the plan, is to amend and work on the governor's recommendation. I guess my point is only that we get the Senate and the House to kind of like put this as top agenda, right? So they can work on amending the EO that's in place for the casino, and now it's looking more like this also will be in place, no, sa tinawag timey house is that. So I that's all. I hear your point. What I'm saying is, no, because that's why I asked the legal counsel. I wish he had gotten this legal opinion or analysis earlier, so that the House can have access to it, and then maybe what time and put time to do something about it. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Maglonia. Yeah, I don't want to draw it out any further and belabor the point. I think it's clear where we are, and with that, we'll go ahead and recognize the floor leader for the proper motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think in line with what the council has brought forth and with the sentiments of the members, at this time I move to disapprove Executive Order number 2025-005.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
There has been a motion for the disapproval of Executive Order 2025-005 and has been seconded. Discussion? Everybody's ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Castro? Senator Cruz?
Yes.
Senator Hofschneider?
I'm good.
Senator Magofnia? Senator Manglonia Donald?
Yes.
Senator Manglonia Paul?
Yes, with reservation.
Senator Magofnia? Mr. President?
Yes.
Sorry,
Oh,
Senator Magofnia?
I'm sorry, I missed the, yeah, could you repeat the motion?
the motion is to reject Executive Order 2025-005.
Abstain.
Mr. President,
Yes. Show recess, please. We now rise back, and I'd like the clerk to please call the roll.
Senator Castro,
Yes.
okay, Mr. President, 6 voted yes, 1 abstention, and 2 are absent.
With 6 members voting to reject Executive Order 2025-005, the Senate has officially rejected said executive order. Moving on to letter E, communications from the judiciary. There are none. Communications from heads of executive departments. There are none. Communications for the House. Recognize the clerk.
Mr. President, we have 9 items, House Communication 24-109 to 118.
Discussions from the members. None? Okay. On to H, communications from the Senate. Recognize the clerk.
We have 9 items, Senate Communication 24-179 to 187.
Discussion from the members. Ready? Okay. Being that there are no items in the agenda items I, J, K, and my apologies. Under L, I recognize Senator Paul Magnolia for the introduction of bills, initiatives, local bills, and resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to formally introduce an unnumbered bill, Senate Legislative Initiative, to amend Article 12, Section 3 of the Constitution, to clarify that individuals may own permanent and long-term interests acquired above the first floor of a condominium building, including common elements, easement, and access from the first floor. Introduced. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Magnolia. Any other members? Okay. There being none, we will move on to none under reports of special and conference committees. Nothing under the bill calendar. Under Q, miscellaneous memorials and miscellaneous communications. Recognize clerk.
We have 5 items, Miscellaneous Communication 2469 to 72 and 2474.
Discussion? For my part, I did want to say I want to extend my appreciation to the acting chairperson of the Cannabis Commission for her efforts to provide us, the Senate, and the House with a clear picture of all that is going under the purview of the Commission. Moving on, announcements. Oh, I'm sorry. Under miscellaneous communications, recognize Senator Lefort.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is in reference to miscellaneous communication 24-72. This is the CHCC's updated financial report for the H&P. And at this time, I would like to ask if the chairman can just review or go over some of the expenses that have been identified by CHCC. Maybe have a meeting with them, looking at their expenses and how much we've expended in the different areas in which the HMP operates out of. As I've stated in prior meetings, when I was the health chair, I visited some of these offices, and I've seen that there are several areas in which we can cut costs or save on expenses. One being an example, transportation in the continental United States. We're spending 174,000, and from based on my walk through these offices, I mean, we can save a lot by investing in even just a vehicle in the U.S. We do have a staff that's out there assisting all patients, but she's operating out of her personal vehicle, and we spend a lot on taxis. But maybe one thing that we can look at is transportation, as well as even Hawaii. Hawaii, we have a huge office space in Hawaii, but not a lot of our patients are being referred to Hawaii. We have 4 vehicles in Hawaii that aren't being used. Maybe ship some of that to the continental U.S., but there are certain areas in which we can hopefully save and stretch out every dollar that we give HMP, so that we can prolong the program and hopefully, with the chair's support, we can call in CHCC. These issues have been addressed with them several times, but I don't know, or I haven't seen any changes. But I do know they are working on some of the recommendations that we've provided in terms of inter-island medical referral. So hopefully the next step is to revisit the referral outside the CNMI. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Floor Leader. Any other recognized Senator Castro?
Thank you, President. I just wanted to add to Senator Donald's requests regarding the medical referral. And I know that CHC members or employees from CHC have been trying to work on an MOU with hospitals in Taiwan, but I'm not updated as to what other hospitals they're working with, but I just want to strongly encourage that they look into the hospitals and including our state plan to include hospitals that are closer to us, such as Korea. Our government insurance is Aetna, and if we can just look into making that process more smooth, because like Senator Donald mentioned, transportation cost is really expensive. And for those that have been to Korea or other places like Japan and even Hong Kong, mass transit is real simple. When I was in Korea a few years ago, I didn't need to rent a taxi. I just got on the rail and was able to get to where I needed to go. It's very convenient, and at the same time, our cell phone providers are, if you go to Korea, ITNI has a great agreement with the providers there. So it's like sometimes people don't realize that you're in Korea, or if you're in Japan, Docomo is already here. So overall, I really hope they look deeper into the customer experience and try to make it as convenient as possible to our patients that are being referred off island. If they don't have to go to California, if it's cheaper to go to Korea. But not just those that are under Medicaid, but also to look at a lot of our patients that are paying, self-pay. If somehow we can help mitigate the cost of that expense by having more partnerships and agreements with healthcare providers abroad. Thank you, Chair, Senate President Ayo.
Thank you, Senator Castro. Recognize Senator Magdalena.
Thank you, Mr. President. Como chair gi health committee na no sempre be agang sa no alarming isti na nakata gi January 6 na alarming sa como patatay testi leleng niya gi utimon I Enero na mes no without supplement to appropriation. There is a risk that the health network program benefits may be reduced or discontinued. Pues no no Sentizi i CEO sti tumugi na sa gizan na mapega sti Health Network program za no magait gi budget diskuti sti we actually discussed this somewhat because no we only appropriated 1.2 million na with the expectation down the fiscal year we will be providing supplementals. If what the CEO is saying here that they're getting 100,000 a month per student appropriation, they're spending 374,000, then even if we do everything that para address referral, obviously there's a big gap. And in the past years, that has been addressed by supplemental or I guess funding transfer by the administration, especially because prior to the last couple of years it was under the governor's office. So we do really need to also both houses have to sit down and find out about supplemental opportunities, but that's not to say that we should not look at savings, here and there. Pusena. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Magnolia. In that vein, I do know that when the delegate did come back, when we first talked about the initial Q1 assistance direct from OIA, Health Network program was on top of the list. One of the main issues that they had to include funding for the Department of Corrections, the retirees, GHLI. So not to say that the onus is on the federal government to assist us with this, but we can look into the various possible avenues that we can look to help to supplement the Health Network program, as it is something that we all need critically. Any other members? With that, on to the next item of the agenda, announcements, members. I do have one. There will be a session call for Tuesday the 27th. So I'm going to give some time, hopefully, for the members to conduct the committee meetings so that we can begin to move forward with the business of the legislature now that we've kind of moved past the bigger part of the budget. Anything else? None? With that, floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I move to adjourn today's session, subject to the call of the chair.
Second, there's been a motion for to adjourn today's Senate session, subject to the call of the chair, and has been seconded. All in favor say aye. All opposed say nay.
Aye.
This session is hereby adjourned at 3:39 p.m. Thank you all for your patience. Have a great day.